Nestle's marketing manager, Bryan Waddell, and he's going to tell us all about how they're doing that. And let me look. I know I'm not supposed to look at the screen, but is Bryan there? Tell me.
I'm here. No, I'm here. He was doing the flip over.
Great. Well, Bryan, welcome. I know I am looking at you, but anyway, where are you?
Yeah. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. It snowed this morning, so really wish I was in California. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the sunshine, and it sounds like the vibrations too. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, no, I don't want to rub it in, but yeah, we're going to be in the 70s today. So
yeah, that's rubbing it in. And I hope to God I don't look like the Wizard of Oz right now.
I actually can't tell you, but can
okay,
we
good.
clap? Does he look like the wizard?
Good. I just feared that my face was really big above you.
Actually, I just looked. You look great. All right, Bryan, cool. I'll let you get to it. Thanks.
Wonderful. All right, give me 1 second here to pull this up. And the good news is I'm here to talk about a subject, hopefully, that all of you have figured out by now. And that's this group right here. So as it was mentioned, I'm here to talk about Gen Z and a particular exercise we did with our Hot Pockets for Bits program. And it's a program I'm incredibly proud of. I'll take you through a virtual case study here shortly. But, you know, this was a brand where we talk about a lot of it being a generational powerhouse back in the day and really kind of have lost relevance and favor over the last, 2 decades, if we're truthful. And had a chance to really kind of reignite our relevance with that generation. And a lot of it points to the fact that, from millennials down, they now occupy over 50% of the generational set itself. And as their spending power increases, what they see and what they love is likely to earn that share of wallet. Why this group is so important, though, is, they are the most culturally diverse generation we've seen in America yet. They are digitally native. They have grown up connected to the internet and with connected devices since they were small children. They are incredibly influential. They will share their opinions. They will talk to their cohorts. They will buy into the things that they believe in. They are incredibly fluid, right? As we talk about how they change and how they approach, there are no, identity sets as you kind of look across everything from interest all the way down. And so, there is experimentation in terms of how they present themselves and what they identify against. They are incredibly hard to reach, and they're even harder to move. Big takeaway, right? And I'm not going to linger on this too long, but this is a group that does not watch TV and spends more and more time on digital devices. It comes with everything as the home has changed, as you've gone away from traditional TVs into smart TVs. But again, the roles and devices in which they interact with, whether they be gaming consoles, tablets, phones, have that connection to the internet. And with that, reaching them has become harder and harder. 1 in 3 indicates that in their homes or they themselves use a VPN. Almost 50% use an ad blocker in some form or fashion, and 70% will admit to skipping ads. And it's not just the research that's telling us this, right? We're seeing trusted partners with this information as well, too. Eyeball test, I have 3 people in my family who are college-age students that fall into Gen Z that pay for Hulu without ads, right? It's something that they just do not want to sit through. And as we kind of, have gone through these exercises and have seen where it goes, well, maybe purpose is the key, right? But truthfully, forced purpose or purpose under the veil of purpose sometimes isn't truthfully leading to where it goes to. So as we kind of looked at all of this pragmatically, right, especially when you have a team that's saying, hey, we have to break through with the next generation. How do we bring this back? We needed to rethink, take all of this into practice, truthfully understand, look, if it's not TV, if they're skipping ads, if a lot of what the trusted vehicles that scaled brands, much like the many that are housed under the Nestle USA portfolio are looking to, where do we need to involve? How do we reach and truthfully connect with Gen Z? And ultimately it came down to a better way, right? And really these 3 points kind of embodied how we were creating and how we move forward for this brand in particular to engage with this generation. First and foremost, right, be anything but traditional. We're going to throw out all the media plans. Like 30-second ads are not what this group wants to see. To reach them, we need to meet them where they are and what they're on, but also on their terms. This means we need to deeply understand them. We need to spend the time understanding the research and synthesizing in a way we believe to be true, but also be ready to disrupt ourselves, right? It's constantly evolving. And within that, we have to have an open way of thinking about that approach. Second is thinking like a creator, right? How do you think about how an influencer builds their audience, a trusted voice that they would go to go into their feeds, whether it be on, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, Instagram for the millennial set, but a little bit to Gen Z, and what they do to build relationships with their communities, right? How are they authentically engaging? How are they authentically adding value? We have to think like a brand that Gen Z would actually care about. And third and foremost, right, create value, not ads. This is a very important shift we had to get this brand team to believe in, as the vast majority of where they had spent their time was making ads, right? Getting mom to consider our product within the set and make that purchase. But again, this is for Gen Z. This wasn't about the known consumer. We need to make sure this program was truthfully about them.
What if we told you?
Too fast. So enter into the fray this idea, right? Hot Pockets for bits. At a high level, buy Hot Pockets, score Twitch bits. For a limited time, we were going to give away with every purchase, you would be able to redeem that transaction data plus the UPC to gain virtual currency that you want. And depending on the pack size that was purchased, would dictate how much of that currency you got. And so through this unique partnership with Twitch in an engagement forward way to kind of nurture the streamer set, but also the interests of the Gen Z consumer, we were able to get to a pretty great spot. And I have a little video to showcase how we did it.
What if we told you that one of the most successful CPG brands had never directly asked their actual consumers to buy their product? Meet Hot Pockets. The brand has focused the majority of their marketing on getting mom to purchase Hot Pockets for her kids, while the Gen Z male consumer was never truly considered a purchaser, until now. What do Gen Z males spend the majority of their time doing? Gaming. But how does a brand move Gen Z gamers to buy their product? By offering them something they value more than money: bits. Twitch's digital currency, so popular amongst the Gen Z audience that they have quadrupled Twitch's revenue since introduction. With that, Hot Pockets for Bits was born. Nice.
Yo! Hot Pockets is hooking you up with free bits on Twitch.
The premise was simple. Buy Hot Pockets, score bits on Twitch.
It's raining Twitch bits!
In order to translate physical sales into virtual currency, we partnered with a cutting-edge technology to instantly turn receipts into bits using a mobile wallet. To drive awareness of the program, we launched a custom microsite, custom mobile wallet, high-impact paid media placements on Twitch and Snapchat, and enlisted top influencers, including Shroud, one of gaming's biggest stars, to promote Hot Pockets for Bits across live streams, on social, and in paid media assets.
This stream is sponsored by Hot Pockets.
It's really good. And the audience quite literally ate it up. Within 48 hours of program launch, thousands of redemptions completely wiped out our entire bits budget. So Hot Pockets doubled down, bringing the total of bits for distribution to nearly 10 million. Woo! But the consumer's appetite wasn't slowing down. Within a week, the word had spread on Twitter, Reddit, and even a copycat fan site. Meanwhile, thousands of receipt scans and redemptions poured in each day. Superfans were purchasing 10, 20, even 30 plus boxes of Hot Pockets to participate. The bits were going like hot pockets. All in, we sold out of bits 3 times in just 6 weeks, forcing the program to shutter.
No. Oh my God, they are gone. The bits are sold out.
Our sponsored streams racked up over 1 million hours of watch time, generating 37,000 Hot Pockets related chats. Not only that, but we successfully linked streams to sales, with a conversion rate of 36%. Ultimately, we saw 6 times the conversion rate of any couponing program the brand had done, proving that after all, the Gen Z consumer is an effective target to drive product demand and physical sales. What if we told
Oh, here we go. All right. So as the video kind of showcased, right, an incredible program for us to one, garner breakthrough in a way that at least got the conversation, the views where we thought. The lagging indicator, though, in seeing that conversion rate and seeing the ability to actually move them to purchase was really an aha for us, right? As it was really unknown if we were going to be able to take it to those heights. But truthfully, as we look back on it now, should not have surprised us, right? When you talk about right time, right target, right message, right value, right offer, this really was it. And so not only did it check the boxes from an awareness standpoint and getting that net reach, but really the conversion rate we saw in this program was immense. Thankfully, too, the industry has seen it as well. This has been one of not only this brand, but Nestle's most award-winning programs to date. And so, we try to kind of use this now as the gold standard for brands as they talk about wanting to understand where Gen Z goes, not necessarily looking to this program to copycat it, but more so embody the principles and the foundation of really why we took it to where it was. And I'm quickly going to go over these 5 because I would love to save some time for y'all to ask me questions before you run off to lunch. So first and foremost, right, know your audience. This may sound like you've heard it over the top. I mean, we've talked about this with every generational set, but you truthfully need to understand who they are, right? What are their interests? What are they passionate about? What do they value, right? Once you know that stuff, be specific. I think the third point is the most important. Listen and engage with it. Social listening leading up to this program played a huge part or component for us being to where they were. And then meet and talk with them where they're at, right? We had to make sure that the mechanisms we had in play, whether they be organic or paid, delivered on what we believed. Unique with the Hot Pockets eater, right? This was a target we very much have had identified for quite some time. But leading up to here, we were able to intimately understand this individual, right? We no longer talked about it as a general teen target, but more so a specific teen target within that category and what makes him in particular so different. Second was understanding how to choose the right playground, right? As many brand marketers in here have seen, I'm sure you have interest data coming in from varying different outlets and resources like we do, but understand and identify the niche where your brand can credibly and authentically intersect with that consumer against where they're passionate about, right? We go through these exercises pretty regularly. And when we saw it here for Hot Pockets, right, we had to identify where we wanted to take it. And truthfully, where we were to date in some of those exercises. And many of us would argue that a lot of the work we had done to gaming leading up to this to help try to establish that credibility simply wasn't working, right? We couldn't get past the ground floor. So instead of forcing this behavior, how are we being truer, more authentic? And this program brought that about. And it really was alignment about how we treat this brand as the ultimate gaming snack through our messaging and through our activations, right? What works about the product that's unique, and what do gamers seek truthfully from what we could understand about them from multiple facets and assets. Third is to meet them where they are. And I think this is also really important. And that, as you talk about interest groups or just the difference between Gen Z males and Gen Z females and the gender fluid and where interests are, you really have to understand it, right? We're not a company or an organization that's run by this generation yet, many of which are just now getting into the professional environment for the first time. But if you follow these tips in particular and really kind of understanding them throughout the various touch points within the brand support team or your organization, it matters a lot, right? So doing the homework, having the report, I can't tell you the amount of cliff notes that we had to distill through other cross-function team members in the organization to make sure that they understood it as well too. Understanding when trends pop, why do they pop? Why are they working? Being really pragmatic about understanding and distilling those for our brands. And then the one that's unique that we've seen the most kind of potential and return against is understanding how we form a partnership, right? Whether that be with a channel partner, whether it be with an influencer or a creator or a network of influencer and creators, or even other likewise or akin brands, and what they can help offer to the table that really maybe hasn't existed before or fills a need state, whether that be occasion-based or just interest-based, in order for us to drive forward. And then once you have all those, think to some best practices, right? It's okay for you to get out of your own shoes and think, live, and act like another brand. It's also a great way to completely throw a lot of your own set biases completely out the window. For us, this meant really understanding kind of where Twitch was. And this program came to fruition, right at the start and towards the end of the holiday season and at the start of when the pandemic was really beginning to set in prior to shelter in place. But this was a platform where they were. Right now, it's absolutely exploded and has become, I can have a whole separate conversation about Twitch with brand marketers at another time, but we knew this a place to be where they were. Now it's simply, reinforced by what has come to light in an area in which even today, we continue to have a very healthy presence on, both from a paid and organic perspective. Fundamentally, this was the hardest one to get the brand team to really understand from an executive level down when we think about how we reframe the value exchange, especially with mom being the target for so long, right? But with Gen Z, this is very much a generation that understands the value of their own attention, the likes, the loyalty, and they're gonna make you earn it, right? You can't just show up and do these things. this has to be an ever evolving process for brands that truthfully want to win with this consumer set. And so we had to constantly reframe the idea of meaningful value, right? And in some cases, it could be digital currency, right? In the same way we talked about Twitch bits, almost 2 years ago to the date, we're now having very fluid conversations around cryptocurrency and what that means and how the evolving state with NFTs could potentially play an impact or role in our brands, not only in the right now, but in the future. And having these open conversations and earnest conversations, especially for a grocery brand, is really foundational in us deepening our understanding. But then, like, what is the utility of our product? What is the utility we're offering within that exchange? Are we spotlighting some of these individuals, giving them a forum for them to participate in and really become enabled stakeholders? The new definition of what a hybrid or in-person experience could look like and how we differentiate. We've seen some of the music artists they've grown to love just organically show up on Twitch or streaming platforms before their talent representation agency or even publishing partners could get out ahead of it, right? And so when we talk about these new realms of entertainment or even action, what do these mean, right? At the end of the day, do not be disruptive. Do not interrupt the things that they love and are part of. How do you enhance it? How do you amplify it? And how do you make sure that you are staying in those with an authentic voice? Now, our double click here was, when working in partnership, understanding the rise of the Twitch bit currency and getting our teams to understand the importance of these. But again, when you do your homework, when you have everything at the ready to support this, that's where that breakthrough is. And then finally, right, speak through and not to your community. That's the most, and I've probably said the most several times, but this was a big piece, right? When you think about that credible voice of wanting to be authentic and wanting to be relevant, that's not something you can force. You're going to have to let go a little bit. You're going to have to enable stakeholders to be communication for pillars for your business and find that genuine brand love. Send them the product before you engage with them. Make sure that this is something they would interact with, wear, use from a makeup set before you even get involved. From there, what matters, right? Continuing to champion diversity, collaborate with them, don't dictate, don't be a parent. That can be really bad in these cases. I've seen it blow up with other brands, but in this case, we did a really great job. We also thought about the long-term relationships that a program like this would have and how we continue to nurture that. And then making sure that we use paid as an integrated mechanism to layer it contextually, to have that additional aided awareness, but not necessarily, right, the most important part or facet to it. These were our voices, a great set of individuals from individuals like Shroud, again, who have almost 9 million followers across all their social handles, down to creators like Trey and Jay, who truthfully only have about 25,000 or so subs, and at a time with most of their streams may have less than 2,000 concurrent viewers. It all matters, right? Every state, every facet, it all matters. And you have to treat it from the mega celebrity realm all the way down to the smaller scale and even grassroots level when it comes to these types of programs. The one slide I will end with here, just for the sake of time, is we had a really kind of additional aha moment that came from a lot of this, where we weren't expecting the influencers to necessarily be the drivers of conversion, especially because we weren't putting purchase mechanisms with them to kind of enable this. But what they were able to deliver, especially that first pop when Shroud kind of announced the program, was really an unexpected outcome. And this level of thinking not only reframed how we currently treat the creator relationships we have for the Hot Pockets brand, but has dramatically reframed it for several of our brands here at Nestle USA. And with that, we'll see if we got any time for any questions. Or you all just may be ready to eat, which is fun too.
Some questions? Yes, okay. First.
We do have questions, so hold tight.
Okay, great.
Hi, Bryan. Katie Lacasse here. I work for MIQ. I'm one of the sponsors here at this event. I actually work with Nestle currently. I work with the Nido and Chameleon Cold client out of Merkel. So I work directly with them, but we haven't really touched Gen Z at all because it's more of a parents audience. So couple questions for you on your statement. You mentioned ever evolving process for brands and how this is kind of going to expand, of course, potentially using Twitch next time or maybe expanding off of that. Just curious for you, what are your thoughts on what would you do from an expansion perspective for next time? Are you thinking about getting more into blockchain with, I know you mentioned NFTs, was also kind of thinking of like gaming endemic, ACR, things of that nature. Just curious your perspective on that.
So with this program, it wasn't like digital currency was going to become the outcome, right? The value exchange was the right way to get involved. We have, since this program launched and even to where we're at today, our gaming activations have increased substantially, right? The brand signed a massive sponsorship with NRG Gaming, a group that focuses on content creators more so than they do the esports side, though they do have the #1 Rocket League team in the globe, and focused on how they treated and engaged with their audiences on the upfront, and it brought additional value to that partnership, right? We give away, I can't tell you how many free Hot Pockets or surprise and delight deliveries through Instacart and other third-party partners. We have a great program coming up in December that's focused on the new role in which esports can kind of be viewed, not from a competitive set, but from an entertainment set, with a 5-hour live stream and a great gaming partner we have with Halo Infinite, in solely focusing on just exactly that, right? Engagement, giveaways, what the new value exchange or prop up is. And it could be us giving away merch from the organization. We're going to be giving away limited edition gaming PCs. We have a consumer facing promotion right now where you can actually get Xbox Series X's where there's no inventory of these things anywhere. So for us to be able to just give those away for free is something we felt like is very much necessary. But the currency situation and kind of exchange is going to evolve, and is a lot about, is a very big part of our conversations as we head into not only just our comms planning for 2022, but also our full 360 omni-channel conversations as well. And I have been talking with your friends at Merkle, so they're aware.
Hi, Bryan. Aaron Smith from Stone Brewing. Had a question about long-term impact to sales, and if you were able to get a read on repeat after that initial incentive was no longer available.
Yep. So the question you have is not only tied to this program, but several we often have running. And we're fortunate to have a team that's really dedicated to evolving the lifetime value metric here at Nestle and trying to understand from a retail standpoint the linkage between digital activations like this and truthfully what it dictates and if there was repeat purchase. The early read we got was that this was a volume play given how rich the offer was. I mean, the direct exchange between currency was overabundant. I think you got almost $25 of value if you bought the 15 pack, and the 15 pack doesn't cost $25. So it wasn't the cleanest read possible. However, when we looked at other brands that were leveraging digital-esque engagement programs and demand programs at a similar period, they didn't touch our number, right? And especially in terms of just the redemption alone. So we've throttled our expectation for this and have since begun a retargeting exercise to see where that repeat is. Luckily, the performance numbers are dictating that it is all working. We haven't been able to articulate it down to this level, but we are hopeful in the second iteration we'll get a much stronger read given how this program in particular just forced that change in evolution in us understanding those longer term metrics as opposed to just looking at short-term velocities.
Okay, Bryan, thank you so much. That was awesome. It was a really great presentation. So really, everyone's clapping for you if you can't hear them.
I can hear it vaguely. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, and try to keep warm.
Yes, thank you.